Anime has given us some of the most beautiful love stories ever told, but it's also the king of the blue ball, or the master of the tease. We've all been there. You're binge watching a series, you see the glances, the sacrificial saves, the moments that make your heart do backflips, and then the credits roll on the final episode, and your OTP, they're standing 10 feet apart, acting like they're just good pals. It's the kind of heartbreak that makes you want to throw your remote through the screen. So today, we're not just reminiscing, we're holding a tribunal. We're diving into the 4 anime couples whose chemistry was so electric, whose bonds were so profound, that their lack of a canon romance feels like a glitch in the Matrix. These are the ships that should have sailed, the love stories that deserved a harbor. These are the couples that had everything except the timing. But before we crack open this emotional vault, make sure you hit that like button to send this out to the anime gods, and subscribe for more deep dives. Let's get into it. Ichigo Kurosaki and Rukia, Bleach. We have to talk about the pair that started it all for so many of us. When you think of Bleach, you don't just think of Soul Reapers and Hollows. You think of an orange-haired teenager and a petite Shinigami in his closet. Ichigo and Rukia's relationship wasn't just a friendship, it was a genesis. She didn't just give him powers, she gave him purpose. And he literally stormed the gates of heaven for her. Think about the symbolism for a second. In the Bleach universe, rain is used to signify Ichigo's despair. It pours when he feels helpless, when he can't protect anyone. And who was always there to make it stop? Rukia. From the moment she stabbed him with her powers, they were linked on a cellular level. She was his anchor to the spirit world, and he was her redemption. Rukia spent centuries feeling guilty about the death of Kai and Shiba, feeling like she failed someone she looked up to. Then she meets Ichigo, a reckless, stubborn boy who looks exactly like him, and she gets a second chance. She protects him, nurtures him, and in doing so, heals a wound she thought would never close. Their connection wasn't about romance in the traditional sense. It was about souls recognizing each other. They were 2 halves of the same coin. When one was weak, the other was strong. When he lost his powers, her image was what he clung to. So why does it hurt so much? Because in the end, the narrative chose the path of tradition over the path of transcendence. Ichigo ended up with the girl who represented normalcy, and Rukia with the man who represented her past. But for those of us watching, the boy who stopped the rain and the girl who taught him how to fight the storm will always be the couple who wrote their story not in ink, but in the scars they bore for each other. A love that didn't need a confession because it was written in every battle cry. Natsu Dragneel and Lucy Heartfilia, Fairy Tale. We enter a guild where bonds are everything. Fairy Tale is a show about family, about fighting for your nakama until your legs give out. But buried under all that screaming and friendship, speeches was a love story so obvious it had teeth. Natsu and Lucy, the Dragon Slayer and the Stellar Spirit Mage. From the very first episode, when Natsu saved Lucy from that fake salamander, their fate was sealed. But what makes this pairing so painfully should have been is the quiet domesticity buried within the chaos. Natsu, the guy who can level a city block, had no concept of personal space when it came to Lucy. He crashed through her window, slept in her bed, and ate her food like a stray cat that decided it was home. And Lucy? She complained, sure, but she loved it. Natsu was the only person who could make her feel like she belonged. He never once cared about her family fortune or her past trauma. He just cared about her. When her father died, Natsu didn't give a sappy speech. He just showed up, sat with her in the pouring rain, and let her cry. That's not just friendship, that's devotion. In a guild full of powerful wizards, Natsu's true strength wasn't his fire, it was his ability to make Lucy believe in herself. And Lucy, in turn, was the heart that kept him human. She tempered his rage, gave him a reason to come home. And we're expected to accept that the loudest, most emotional guy in the room, the one who lives at full volume in everything he does, somehow drew the line right there. The stares meant nothing. The jealousy meant nothing. Please, Natsu Dragneel didn't just love Lucy, he burned for her. And in a better world, the Fire Dragon King would have claimed his queen. Subaru and Rem, Re-Zero. This is where we stop talking about chemistry and start talking about sacrifice. In the entire pantheon of anime, there has rarely been a love as pure, as devastating, and as unrequited as Rem's love for Subaru in Re:Zero. Subaru is transported to another world. He's weak, he's pathetic, and he's obsessed with Emilia. And Rem? She starts off wanting to kill him because she smells the witch on him. But Subaru does what Subaru does best. He breaks down her walls. He saves her, not with magic, but with sheer, stubborn will. And what does Rem do in return? She gives him everything. When Subaru was at his absolute lowest, broken, humiliated, ready to run away and leave it all behind, it was Rem who held his face in her hands and told him that it was okay to be weak. She told him that he was her hero. She offered to run away with him, to abandon her entire world, just so he wouldn't have to suffer anymore. She loved him without condition, without expectation. She literally said she would be his second wife, his side piece, just to be near him. Subaru, even in his denseness, admitted he loved her, more or less equally as much as Emilia. He relied on her. He needed her. She was his emotional bedrock. And then, the series did the unthinkable. It erased her. Gluttony ate her name and her memories, leaving her in a coma, forgotten by the world. In a narrative sense, Rem had to be removed for Subaru to stand on his own. But in our hearts, she remains the ultimate testament to the tragedy of the second girl trope. She loved him through death, through despair, through timelines he couldn't even remember. Subaru may have ended up with Emilia, the goal he set from day one. But Rem was the journey. And sometimes, the journey is far more beautiful than the destination. She proved that even in a world where you can return from death, some losses leave a scar that no amount of time loops can heal. Roy Mustang and Riza Hawkeye, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. And finally, at number 1, the couple that defines the phrase, show, don't tell. The one that hurts the most because they are so painfully, obviously in love, and yet duty chains them tighter than any villain ever could. Roy Mustang and Riza Hawkeye. This isn't a story of puppy love. This is a story of two soldiers forged in the hellfire of the Ishvalan War. They don't hold hands. They hold each other's lives in their hands. Riza carries the secret of flame alchemy on her back, literally tattooed onto her skin, and she trusts Roy with it. She gave him the power to burn down an army, and in return, she gave him a condition. Use it to protect the country. And if you ever stray from that path, I will be the one to kill you. That is the ultimate vow. She is his ambition, his conscience, and his executioner all wrapped into one. Roy, the man who womanizes and flirts with every waitress in Central, treats Riza with a reverence he shows no one else. When she's in danger, his cool demeanor shatters into a rage that terrifies even his enemies. He doesn't see her as a subordinate. He sees her as his partner, his equal. Their love is spoken in glances across a war table, in the way he trusts her to have his back against a homunculus, in the way she silently picks up the pieces after he falls apart. It's a love built on mutual respect, shared trauma, and an unshakable promise. In the end, they stand side by side. Roy becomes Führer, and Riza remains by his side. But there's no kiss, no confession, just the unspoken understanding that their lives are intertwined beyond the need for words. Roy Mustang and Riza Hawkeye are the tragic reality of war, a reminder that sometimes the deepest love is the one you can never act on, because the mission, the country, the duty comes first. They didn't get the fairy tale ending. They got something harder. They got eternity. Because a love that is silent is a love that is strong, it echoes forever. So there it is, 4 couples who defined a generation of anime fans, and 4 ships that sail straight into the storm but never reach shore. These weren't random pairings. They were built on tension, sacrifice, and moments that felt bigger than Canon ever allowed. Yet somehow the final step never came. If there's a duo we miss, drop their names in the comments and let the debate rage on. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your fellow broken-hearted shippers. Until next time.